What's up, family? Kris Austin here. Welcome to another episode of Smoking with Austin. On today's episode, we'll be teaching you how we make our baked beans. Summertime's right around the corner. Family gatherings, parties, whole nine. We got you right here. If you want to learn how to make some delicious baked beans, stay tuned and we'll see you soon. Y'all better have some, man. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So as promised, we're gonna show you how we make our baked beans today. You can have these at any family gathering, anytime you feel like it, if you just want them at home for yourself. So let's get right into it. So first, as we start our baked beans, we're gonna turn on our burner here. Start to get our pot nice and hot. So first, we'll begin with about a tablespoon of olive oil, just to coat the bottom of the pan so that way we don't have anything stick as we get started. So just to kind of give you steps as I'm going to walk through this. First, I'm going to start by sauteing my onions and bell pepper. Season those just a tad bit because we always start building flavor from the start. And here you'll have ranch powder, you'll have honey habanero seasoning, you have Italian seasoning, chili powder, granulated garlic, granulated onion, a little bit of Sazon, our brisket rub salt and pepper garlic mix, and then we have fresh minced garlic, and we have brown sugar here. And as our family always likes to use, Bush's has always been a great household baked beans when it comes to our recipes and cookouts on the weekends or whenever holidays for baked beans in my family. So Bush's, if you're watching, talk to us. Then we got Frank's mustard, then you have Heinz ketchup, we have Grandma's molasses, which has always been a favorite, and we have our house barbecue sauce. All these things we're going to incorporate into these baked beans and our recipe. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned in just a second as this oil heats up. We'll see you in a bit. All right, so now that we have our oil hot, I'm going to go ahead and add my bell pepper and onions. That lets you know your pan's nice and hot. Make sure your pan's nice and hot when you start this. So you can cook your onions on a medium to low heat. Doesn't have to be super high. Gonna take a little bit of the Italian seasoning that we have, sprinkle over. A little bit of our salt and pepper to draw out any moisture that's in these onions and bell peppers, and then we'll give that a mix. We'll start to stir that around. So we're gonna cook these until the onion and bell pepper start to cook down and the onions start to become translucent. Once they do that, then we'll come back and we'll add our garlic in right after that. Okay, so now it's been almost 2 to 3 minutes. The onions are starting to cook down, starting to become translucent. Bell peppers are starting to brighten up. So at this time, we're gonna add our teaspoon of minced garlic. Gonna give that a mix. So now we're gonna cook this until that garlic becomes fragrant because you don't wanna burn your garlic. That's the last thing that you wanna do. So keep an eye on it at this point. Once you can start to smell the garlic, the onions, and the bell peppers all together, then we move on to the next step and add in our ground beef. And our ground beef is made from brisket trimmings that we have. So we take the trimmings, we grind it up for the ground beef, and that's what we use in our baked beans. So you can call it brisket baked beans if you like. That'll be a proper name for it. Everything is incorporated. The garlic has become very fragrant. So now at this point, we're gonna add in our ground beef. So here I have about a pound, maybe about a pound and a half, just because we like ours a little bit meaty. So we're gonna spread this out. So after we get the ground beef spread out, we're gonna come back with the rest of our seasonings. So first, I'm gonna start with the salt and pepper mix. Nice amount because we like to make sure our food is well seasoned. Save some, don't use it all just in case you have to come back and reincorporate and taste as you go. Granulated garlic. Chili powder. Smoky honey habanero for a little bit of kick. Our sazon. Ranch powder. Italian seasoning. Onion powder. And now we'll give that a mix. Make sure everything is nice and incorporated together. Once everything is mixed up and incorporated, maintain and keep on a medium heat and allow the ground beef to cook down. So I'm gonna give it a quick taste just to make sure that my seasoning levels are right and that everything is the way that we want it to before we add our baked beans and everything else that goes into the baked beans. Yep, I would say that's about right. So at this point, we'll turn our heat down just a little bit. We'll take our Bush's baked beans and we'll add them to. All right, so once you add those, kind of move it around just a little bit. So now at this point, we're gonna go in probably about a quarter cup to half a cup, pretty much whatever you feel like. Because again, make this recipe your own. You don't necessarily have to go off the measurements that we have here. Mustard. Molasses. And then our house barbecue sauce. So in which we use about a cup of barbecue sauce and a cup of molasses in that. So now we're gonna mix. Oh, almost forgot. Can't forget the brown sugar. So that's a half a cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar, packed. So now we're gonna mix until completely incorporated. right, so now that we got everything incorporated, we'll give it another taste. Make sure everything's good, and then we'll let these cook down a little bit. I would say that's about right. All right, so at this point, we've got everything in. We've tasted it. Everything looks amazing as it should. So this is the final product of our baked beans. So use this at any function, any gathering that you may have. And if you like this recipe and you like the content that we provided you today, please subscribe, hit that like button, head over to our Instagram page and our Facebook page and give us a follow. And we'll see you soon on the next episode. Peace. Have a good one, guys. Y'all better have some. Y'all better have some, man. Stay tuned. I'm telling people, I'm like, spaghetti's a side where I'm from. They was like, what? That's a whole meal by itself. No, it ain't. That's a side. You got spaghetti, corn, what else? Potato salad probably, everything. You got greens, whole nine. Especially if you're eating fish. If you're eating fish, spaghetti is definitely a side dish.